Sunday. It's the day to change your narrative for the better. I challenge you to be compassionate, to express love and appreciation openly, not just to your loved ones, but everyone. Resist that voice of fear inside your head. Do your best to step away from expecting the worst. Are those negative thoughts really serving your best interest or keeping you in the past? If you are in emotional turmoil, step away to a quiet place to allow yourself the opportunity to become calm and centered. Seek the company of those who inspire and uplift you. Today is your day. As you contemplate the change you'd like to make, think of these opposites and which side you're on. Mindful or mindless, optimistic or pessimistic, winning or losing, thriving or struggling. See you tomorrow. Have you ever thought about what you eat in terms of foods that cause inflammation? Our immune system reacts to everything we eat. In other words, we are what we eat. If the bad bacteria outnumber the good bacteria in our gut microbiome, we can develop allergies and encounter inflammation in our bodies. Sugar, salt, fat, and processed foods could all be seriously throwing the good and bad bacteria out of balance. So, how do we keep our gut healthy? Natural whole foods like fruits and vegetables. Cheap calories like corn syrup and corn oil have inflammatory properties. Pre- and probiotics add good bacteria and come in supplement form, and foods like yogurt, pickles, and sauerkraut. Fiber intake should be 24 to 30 grams a day. Fiber buffers the digestion of sugars, makes you feel full, and protects the lining of the digestive tract. In next Monday's Diet Talk, I'll dive deeper into improving our diet. What stress in your life is beyond your control? Do you have a noisy workplace? Do you have a newborn baby at home? No matter what kind of stress it is, it's detrimental to us at the cellular level, whether we can control it or we can't. So today I want you to think about meditating. Now, sometimes I use yoga. I know it's not the true form, but it does help me just focus on the poses and the breathing. Here are some other things I try. I sit quietly in a softly lit room, and I close my eyes and I think only about my presence and my body, and I try to focus from my toes to my crown. Sometimes I become aware of pain in my body, and if that focus doesn't help it subside, then I stop and start another day. Sometimes I just focus on breathing in and out. Sometimes I try to focus my attention on my heart. These are all things I've tried. You try. Today I'm expanding upon that idea of stress that I talked about yesterday and moving on to aging. You know, aging takes decades to become realized. The process is centered on DNA, and our experiences over our lifetime affects our gene activity. An ongoing study on aging begun 80 plus years ago, conducted by Harvard, summarized this in its headline: "Good genes are nice, but joy is better." The study has followed 268 students who were sophomores in 1938. In 2017, only 19 were still alive, but they've begun to study their children and their children's children. The findings are very clear. Our relationships have a powerful influence on our health. They go on to summarize that taking care of our bodies is important, but tending to relationships is also a form of self-care. Another resource for those who are interested is Robert Waldinger's TED Talk, What Makes a Good Life? So let me ask you, what does make a good life? Sleep. Why do we need it? Funny, researchers aren't sure either, but one theory is that sleep gets rid of the toxins that we build up in our brain throughout the day. So what does lack of sleep cause? Well, headaches, muscle weakness, hallucinations, just to name a few. There are studies that prove that lack of sleep leads to depression, anxiety disorders, alcohol abuse, drug dependence, and even inflammation. Sleep requires movement throughout the day, though. We've talked about this. Sitting at the computer burns about 80 calories an hour. We can burn 8 to 10 more by walking 5 minutes, just 4 times in that hour. The older we get, the less we move, and it should be just the opposite. Habits formed now have consequences. We either form ones that include moving or ones that lead us down that declining path of health. Which do you choose? Beliefs are all about our very, very personal reality. A belief is healing if it is flexible and tolerant. promotes happiness, and is loving and kind? Do you use your beliefs to fuel anger or fear, or do you use it to bond with family and friends? I'm not talking about just having a positive outlook. I'm talking about a healing, nurturing attitude toward yourself. Just like lack of sleep and stress, your beliefs can cause inflammation. So why cling to negativity? The adverse health effects just aren't worth it. So how do we get rid of those thoughts? Recognize the thought and say to it, I don't need you anymore. I am not that person anymore. Breathe and focus on your heart. Write down some thoughts that counter the negative thought. I'm not really helpless. I don't have to do this alone. Feeling helpless is just a feeling, not a solution. It's a retraining of your mind. Here's my question for you today. Is any of the struggle that we go through really necessary? Do these statements fit? I can't see a way out. It's been this way as long as I can remember. It's not me. Life is hard. I've got no one to turn to. I deserve this. Why do we try to rationalize we are stuck instead of putting our time and energy to work finding out what will work? Every cell in our bodies has one purpose: to live and thrive. If we block that purpose with some of those thoughts, we are struggling. Trust is at the core of not struggling with all of those thoughts. We have to trust that life will take care of itself. We have to accept ourselves, work on our beliefs, find rhythm between sleep and movement, equip ourselves with tools to become mindful, and eat a healthy diet. Are you beginning to see how the body and the mind are one?